so I'm in the basement. This is a piece, that's a drawing. So you can see it's quite a large piece, and it's actually an ink drawing on paper. It looks almost like tracing paper, but it's a thicker plastic material. And when the artist draws on it, it leaves all sorts of traces. I don't know if you can see very well. I'm only seeing a small image here, so let me just see that. Can you see that? So you should know that I can't see you. So if you have any questions or anything, jump in, because I can't see you. So it's thousands and thousands of these little strikes, pencil mark. I can imagine that it takes, the artist is called Laurie Steen. So I'm going to come closer. Can you see all these incredible small marks there? Anyway, that's something that it looks like about, I'd say it's about 4 feet by 3 feet. It's really huge. And here you might remember this piece. It's the wood. It's that big disc, and it has the wood. It's Daniel Mirchev. And you remember that that profile that it has. It's all. It's got that wonderful wave to it, and then all that relief. And you can see all the various layers of the wood there.
I do remember seeing that. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it just beautiful? So I would say that's about, again, the disc must be about a good 3.5 to 4 feet wide. It's really massive. I can see that. The artist is Daniel Mirchev. Yeah, it's 110 centimeters diameter. So I'm going to go upstairs. So I'm going to take you in the background here. We are allowed to go at the back. I want to tell you the story of this piece. So this is this is Kate Evans. So Kate lives in the UK, but her sister lives in Ontario, and she goes to Ontario to paint and draw. And when I saw these barns, these images yesterday, I said, this is the quilt barn of Prince Edward County, where I live, where we have a program. I'll show you here. Can you see on the image this little quilt? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a program in Prince Edward County that you can buy one of these quilts. So one quilt will be made for you, and the money from buying the quilt goes to preserve the old barns of the county. And I am sure that this is a barn from Prince Edward County that I found in Marylebone. I mean, this is all very funny. So I'm going to contact Kate Evans and ask her if, these are the barns of our county. So you recognize, we'll see more of those upstairs, but you remember these pieces that are ceramic. There are a few here on the floor. And
I think they were mounted on the wall when we saw them in the exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there are some on the upstairs, and I think this is, here we are in the kind of storeroom here. So we're really behind the scene. And you can see the boxes here. And but here they created them, the same one, but those are made of, I wouldn't hold them if they were in ceramic, I can promise you that. These are plastic. I know, they are so fun. So you can order those if you want. They make the special mold, and they are made of plastic. So this is the plastic, and this is the ceramic one, and I'll take you upstairs to see the ceramic one. So I think the clients upstairs have gone, so I'm going to walk slowly upstairs so I don't make you too seasick. And I want to show you that piece first. So this is a cube. Sorry, there's a glass there that I can remove. And it's, I don't know, can you see that shape? Mm-hmm. So it's plastic, and in fact, it's several layers. Can you see that? And then it kind of disappears as you go through.
That's interesting. That's not what I was expecting from the front view of it.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's in a cube. I'll give you the full view. It's in a cube, and you have each sheet of plastic, in fact, has a printed, I think, printed blue form. And then when they are put together in a certain way, it gives you that impression of a full object.
Slices like an MRI.
It is. Yeah. Did you see? You can see then the. Anyway, it's this blue is absolutely gorgeous, and it's on a stand like that. And the artist is Claire Cohen. That's little people who are disappearing in a circle. It's a little. I find it a little spooky, but maybe that's just me. The artist is Raquel Nee, and they almost like disappearing faces. I find that a little spooky. Anyway, let's go upstairs, and we're going to be welcomed by Matt, who is our host. It's a beautiful gallery. Even the carpet is gorgeous. So here we are. This is Matt.
Hi, everyone.
We have a few ladies here.
It's kind of strange looking into a camera and not knowing who I'm looking at.
I know.
So hi.
All nice ladies. So do you want to give us maybe a little bit the history of the gallery, and then we're going to take a tour?
So the gallery was started about 20 years ago by my mother in Bristol. It started off as a small gallery, more of crafts and arts fair, really. It gradually became, because she chose everything in the gallery that was to her style. That's a very particular style that we have in our gallery now. So a lot of 3D works, a lot of different mediums, a lot of different textures. And you can see that in the works that you'll see up here and downstairs, hopefully. We do a lot of international art fairs, so 12 to 14 art fairs abroad a year. So we go to New York, we go to Miami, Singapore, all throughout Europe. And from there, we have a lot of international clients who come see us in London. So now we're just based in the London gallery with our abroad fairs.
Do you still have the gallery in Bristol?
No, we stopped with the gallery in Bristol purely because all of our artworks are individual works. And if, for example, you came to see this work in Bristol, it would typically be in London. So we decided to concentrate on the one gallery and then the art fairs abroad. Okay. So it seems to work better for us like that. We had two galleries for a little time together, but the overlap didn't work so well.
Didn't work so well.
Yeah. So concentrate on one.
So Matt was telling me a little earlier that he decided to go to university, and then 2 days before he thought that was crazy. He really didn't want to go to university, and he slid naturally into the business, and he actually opened the London gallery for his parents and has been here for 10 years. So, yeah. And now he's doing his business degree because even art needs business knowledge. So,
exactly.
So why don't you take us around and we have a look? Maybe we can start with what's behind you, which is such a stunning piece.
This one here. So this is by a Singaporean artist called Tae-Bak Chang.
How big is this?
This one is large. So it's
I'm just going to slide.
Yeah, of course.
So we have a better view.
So it's 143 centimeters square. It's Chinese ink and pigment on rice paper.
The colors are astonishing. Look at this yellow and it's red.
So Bak Chang is a very well-known artist in Asia. His works are shown all around Asia, but we're the only ones actually to show his works outside of Asia. We've got the contact with him because of the connections in Singapore, where my mother is from.
Oh, your mother is from Singapore?
Yeah, she's from Singapore.
Ah.
So that's how we kind of made first contact with his works.
I love that. What is that little mark there?
That is his signature, his monogram stamp.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
But he typically paints rocks and Chinese magpies, which he finds in Singapore's National Reserve Park. And as a bit of an oxymoron compared to how busy the city is in general.
Right.
So the stillness within the parks,
That's
comparatively to Singapore.
And a piece like that is priced at £6,200. So yeah, it's
Yeah, we have some smaller pieces. We've got some long portrait works.
right.
Typically, this is the size that he works to.
Okay, so I'm going to go straight to this because it's so cute. It was in the window last week. I saw it. Look at these printers trays, and every tray has a miniature little porcelain. How adorable is that?
So if I take one out and I'll show you, a lot of the lids come off. For example, this one, they're all stuck down in case things like that.
Oh, show me. Oh, that's so cute. So everyone is individual. So you buy the full.
You buy the full set. So there's 16 individual porcelain pieces within the frame. You can arrange them as you like, but each porcelain piece is quite different and unique. So there's no repeats, there's nothing.
And who is the artist?
Kate Brett. So we've actually been working with her for around, one of our newer artists actually, for about 8 months now. And we helped her develop the frame and show the works as one, which we think works a lot better than having individual pots.
Yeah. Where is she from?
She's just outside of London. She's a London-based artist.
And does she paint on it? She fires the
Yes, so
clay
they're painted and then they're fired.
Or painted first and then fired. And some are glazed. This one
some
is
are glazed, some are not. So that's where the texture comes into place.
Yeah.
Some are very smooth, some have got a matte finish, some have got gold leaf.
It's gorgeous. Look at this. So you can buy one tray or both trays. Yeah. So I have to tell you, ladies, that I took my first clay class last week. Do you remember Gregory Tinge, who was the potter who came to talk to us? He was also a monk. Yeah. I took my first pottery lesson with him. And I've booked 7 classes with him one-on-one. And all I was able to do last week was center the mud. You know, he gave me a pound of clay and he put it on the wheel and he said, okay, turn the wheel and center the mud. And that's all I did for 19 minutes. Well, no, then I was able to raise the a little bit, and I did do a cylinder.
It's a lot harder than it looks, I think.
It is, not a lot, but I didn't do very high walls to my cylinder, but I did manage to do something. So he was very generous.
And
so this is
sorry, I was just going to ask, those tiny cylinders that we just looked at, those aren't turned, are they? On a wheel?
Are they
so
not
small?
No, I don't believe they are turned. They're all quite different, and then when you look at them circularly, they're all unique and they don't have the same cylindrical shape.
No, but I think they must be turned on the wheel, no?
I think they're done by hand.
Yes. So
But
they're
not
done
on-
by hand.
Maybe started on the wheel, but they're finished not on that.
Right. Look at this one. It's got these 3 little things on it at the top there.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I'll take that one as well.
And this one has little gold dots. Oh, it's so pretty. So, and it's £1,300 per tray. I can see that. Okay, so we were going to have a look at something really different. I just want to get it out of the way, this one, because it dominates the gallery and it's so different. It has a story. So I just want to do it and then we'll carry on with things that are a little bit more. So this is an artist that your parents have been working with for a long time, correct?
Yes, a long, long time. So this was one of the original artists that we had in Bristol. She's called Katie Allen. She's a Welsh artist and she typically paints the rolling hillsides throughout Wales. But she's done a lot of traveling to India and she incorporates that sense of style and painting from India. So I'm not sure if you can see it clearly on the camera, but there are sometimes 5 or 6 different layers of paint raised upon each other.
Yeah, you can see it here, maybe. can see a little bit the volume here.
Yes.
Then you can see the water with the silver.
Yes, there's 5 or 6 different layers of paint, and it's also etched and scratched away at different points, which reveals the dye bond which is painted on. And,
Yeah, so these white scratches there. This is scratching on the.
So dye bond is 2 sheets of aluminium which sandwiches a resin center, and it acts as a very, very stable medium. So when we take pieces to Singapore, for example, when they've got very humid temperatures,
right,
and it goes hot and cold, wooden pieces can warp quite easily, whereas dye bond stays very, very stable, and there's no chance of the paint cracking over time.
Right.
Which some people,
it's a bonus.
It's definitely a bonus, which you don't want to happen when you've got a nice piece of work like that.
So this is an incredible piece. I'm going to let Matt tell the story, and then I'll come closer.
Yeah. So these are all recycled, actually, Japanese kimono silks. They represent, so there's 12 pieces here, and they represent January through to December. And these are the colors which the Japanese people resemble January. Those are February, March, and so on. On our website, we've got I did a very interesting video showing her in her really quirky studio and how the pieces are made and stitched together.
So what you're looking at is not painting, it's layers of fabric that she has cut and glued to each other on this backboard.
Yeah.
And frayed. You can see here there's a bit of fraying, and put together here. She's just used the pattern on the fabric to create the impression of the reeds. And it's all tiny little pieces of fabric that she's glued together to create these miniature tableaus.
And the way that she collects her kimonos are quite unique as well. And she only takes them from certain places. They've all got different textures and thicknesses, and that creates the texture on the pieces, which is quite interesting and awesome.
I'm trying to stay away from because I don't have a zoom on this, but I'm trying to stay away from the shadow for you so you can really see. Look at this one. I mean, just these tiny little strips of fabric, cloth, and even the thread here to create the waves. It's amazing. There's another set over there, and I thought when I saw it the first time that it was watercolor, actually, and not at all. It's fabric.
So these ones, they represent the months of the year, but in the front of the gallery, those ones there we've got, they're called the Gower, which is a place in Wales, and those are different times of the day and periods, which show how it changes.
So when you look at this, I mean, I thought it was watercolor, and then when you come close, you can see. Can you see the fabric? These threads of fabrics here. It's all created with the fabric. I think it's absolutely stunning.
And it's beautiful. I would have guessed watercolor as well, particularly in the previous piece where there's the shading from the dark to the lighter in some of the orange and blue backgrounds.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going back and forth because they're at both opposite ends of the gallery, but yeah, I mean, when you look at this one, for example, which is dark, and look at this, but it's all fabric. All right, and then there is this. So this is another mind-blowing thing. I hope I'm going to be able to show it to you. Give us the story, and then I'll move the camera around.
So this is by an English artist called Anna Masters, and all of her pieces encompass recycled watch parts, clock parts, real butterflies and rose petals. And they're suspended on very thin nylon wire, which is about 5 layers deep. in person, when there's not very strong light showing at the piece, you don't see the wires, and the pieces within it seem like they're floating within a perspex frame.
So I'll go back. Here's the piece, and maybe it's going to be easier to show on a smaller piece.
Yeah.
So you have that frame, and it's, you know, you can see on the side, it's quite thick, and it has these holes there. And each hole, there is a fishing line, if you want,
yes,
that
exactly.
is woven. And then each horizontal and vertical string holds these pieces of watch, these butterflies, pieces of grass, little notes.
And all of the pieces are treated as well. So if they were put into an area with sunlight, they don't fade over time. They're also surprisingly robust, even though they're just on nylon wire. We've shipped them all over the world, and we've never had any problems with, because people always ask about pieces falling off over time. They seem to be very, very robust.
Can you see this?
Yeah. So that one that you're looking at is a silver leaf background, a clock face, sorry, with watch parts, butterflies.
Oh yeah, we can see the clock face there, right at the back there. Mm-hmm. Then this one at the bottom has the gold background, and then the tiny little watch parts and petals. It's just so poetic.
The smaller pieces people often put in a series of 3 or 4 pieces along a wall, whereas the large ones, they sit on their own.
Yeah, yeah, you can see that. It's extraordinary.
Very, very delicate, yeah.
You just wonder how people think to make this kind of stuff. And as we were discussing yesterday with your dad, it's not so much the technique as it is the creativity.
Exactly.
And that makes it special. Now there's, here are the more of the ceramic anemones, I want to call them, that we saw. There are some on the...
So they're called the I series. They're supposed to resemble eyes, but many, many people think they look more like sea enema.
Yeah.
We've had many different things, just overview of the city.
I would love to have a wall like that with these things, and so glorious. Absolutely glorious.
They're all hand rolled and handmade. So each one, for example, has a flat base, as you can see. So it can sit on a coffee table or a side table, and they slot very easily into the wall. So you just put a screw into the wall and it slots in. But each of the things that you see coming off of the base are hand rolled, hand placed on, hand painted. So they're all very unique. There's no two which are exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the little mushroom cities, I call them. So the trick there, you can see these gorgeous objects, and they look like little mushrooms have been glued to it. So Lawrence was explaining to me yesterday that the trick for this, which makes them very unique, is that there's a vessel underneath, and then each little piece is created. You can see the vessel underneath there. It is attached to it, and the trick is that you need to have them dry at different times, but one will take longer than the other to dry, but they need to be all at the same level of dryness, so when they are fired, they don't crack. And the only way to get it right is to get it wrong a lot of time before that, and have a lot of disasters. What is this piece here that we're looking at?
This is done by an artist called Matt Kemp, and everything that he creates is by using recycled materials. So these are actually recycled Nespresso capsules.
Oh.
They are recycled Nespresso capsules. We've got movie film in the rear, which when illuminated, reveals what's behind it. If I turn off the lights for it now, it'll disappear.
All right,
And,
yes.
and then we've also got Sabutio figures, which are from an old English football game, stuck inside the capsules.
That's so cute. It's quite tall. It's about what, 6 feet tall? Well, just under 6 feet.
180 centimeters.
Yeah. Okay.
So just over 6 feet tall.
There's a little lady there. You can see her in her white dress. Maybe she's going to get married. This guy looks like he's going to be hailing a cab.
In all of his pieces, he often puts one slide which has to do with his family. So it's often one piece which shows his mother or his brother, and it's hidden. He never tells anyone where they are.
This one is an abbey corridor. It's fascinating. You can spend hours and hours looking at. How many capsules do you have there? Do you know?
I don't know how many.
You should know that answer, Matt.
5 off, I'm going to count them for you now.
Because it's on all 4 sides.
Yeah, all 4 sides. So how many have you got?
There is a street here. It's just like little miniature worlds.
22 rows, 5 each.
It's almost 500 capsules, right?
440, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Oh, yeah, isn't it fascinating?
He's done a series of these works, and people often, instead of having a night's lamp or something like that, they put that in the corner of a room and really nicely illuminates the room well.
It's fantastic. And what about this rabbit here? This is a weird rabbit. It's a little spooky.
So if you'd have come last week, we had 5 pieces in the window.
Okay.
They've been incredibly popular. I don't know if anyone will know, but Volkswagen, the car company, Gary Betts used to be in charge of all their adverts, their TV adverts. He's been always very creative. He sold that company, and all he actually wants to do now is create sculptures, usually to do with himself and his dog. This one obviously shows a rabbit on the face.
But it's got all sorts of things on the face.
Yeah.
It's got people, it's got
it's all sorts of drawings and things like that.
An egg.
The illustrations are very, very random from one piece to the next. There's no rhyme or reason. Some have aliens, some have trees and rabbits and goats.
Anyway, I find that a little spooky, but and that's just me. And then there's this artist. Is she the one who does the art with the rulers?
This is the one, yes.
What's
These
her name?
are, again, recycled pieces. They're recycled yardsticks.
Rose Vickers, that's right.
Another artist which we've been working with from Bristol for quite a long time. But we actually sell most of these to the United States.
So it looks like there is volume, but there isn't. This is a trompe-l'oeil. It's completely flat. You can see here. There's no volume, but they're old rulers.
Yeah.
That have
when you
been-
see the references throughout them, they've all got something which is slightly different, and they remind people of their childhoods when they're using that at school.
Yeah. It's a jigsaw of rulers. She does smaller work, doesn't she?
She does do smaller ones, yes. This is the largest one that we've got in the gallery. I think they're framed really, really nicely.
Yeah. So this is, I'd say what, 4.5, 5 feet by 4 feet, something
So
like
it's
that?
147 centimeters. Do you work in inches or so?
We Canadians, so we do everything.
147 by 128.
We're not picky, we're in the middle. It's a big piece, it's lovely. And then we can finish with this, again, this trompe-l'oeil here, which is lovely. That wheel of color, look at this. It turns slowly. How it changes color. Am I going too fast or can you see nicely?
That's great.
Like that. So what's the story there?
So this is an Irish artist, and all of his works are 3D medium works. But the idea behind any of his pieces is that wherever you stand, wherever you see it, if you move slightly, you'll see something very, very different. This piece, obviously, you get from the left and the right, you only see half the piece. Whereas straight on, it doesn't look like there's any angles to the works, it's just a blast of colour.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's similar for his other works. This one's a wooden dowel medium, but he works often with paper, torn paper, metal works, gold leaf.
And this?
These are monoprints by a different artist called Chow Chun.
Monoprints.
Yes. So
What does that mean?
They're prints, but they're unique. So there's not 1 of 10 or 120. They're 1 of 1.
I see.
So it's a unique choreographed print.
Is it quite Picasso-esque or even Calder-esque?
I think these ones are quite different for the style that we have in the gallery, really, because everything else has a different feel to it. But we really like these ones personally.
Yeah.
And it's unusual for us to have prints, but they're 1 of 1. So.
No, it's fabulous. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, I see that Judith has joined us. Hi, Judith. Great. Well, we've been around, and I don't want to take too much of your time, ladies, and wanted to thank Matt. Thank you so much. And do you have any questions? Or Lily, I'm going to try to put my face back on so we can see the back. Here we are. And I just wanted to say hello and bring you a little bit to London, and I miss you all.
Well, thank you. That was really fun.
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Thank you. Some terrific things in the gallery.
Yeah, there's some great things here. It's a fantastic gallery. So I'm going to bring Simon, I think, but I've got a wedding anniversary coming up, I think.
Where is the gallery? Where is the gallery in London? Where is the gallery?
It's in Marylebone.
Okay.
Yeah, and it happens that the apartment we're renting is almost across the street from here. So I just couldn't believe my luck. I'm actually between Cube Gallery and Jagged Art. So it's a very dangerous place to be.
Oh, that's just perfect for you.
Good. Well, have a fantastic week, and I just want to send you lots of love and safe travels. And we'll talk soon. I hope to see you sometime next week.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.